Hello, hello. Welcome into another edition of the, our series, just wrap up recap, presented as always by Jimmy's Famous Seafood. I'm Eric from Exit 52. We're running it solo again tonight. Again, busy holiday weekend, so we're letting the boys rest. But wow, wow, is there a lot to talk about? A lot of stuff going on in Birdland this weekend. None of it too good at all, unless you want to count the 2-0 record in the all orange uniforms, the orange out. Again, that's kind of my takeaway from the weekend. But yeah, again, a lot of stuff going on. So hello, Carol. I'm sure you, like a bunch of other people, missed the game because of Easter, and if you did, I am glad that, or I'm sure you're glad that you decided to skip it for Easter. I found out about the Pope dying from Eric's tweet. Yeah, R.I.P. the Pope. Can't believe the last game he saw was the Orioles lose 24-2. Not many people know that the Pope was a massive Orioles fan. Ramon Urias is his favorite, so that's he was a big Otis fan. So again, it was kind of a letdown to see them do that and then him die the next day. So R.I.P. the Pope. Yeah, again, not a good weekend for anyone really in Birdland. So we'll jump right in. But again, this series against the Reds. Reds are kind of a feisty team. They've got some spunk to them. Obviously, if you're not obsessed with baseball like I am, you probably know Ellie De La Cruz, but you don't know some of their other guys. And again, they're kind of having a down year. But again, Ellie was probably the star of the show this weekend. They had a couple guys too. Friedel, who I think is from Frederick, they were saying, which I didn't know. But yeah, they all kind of showed out, especially in game 3, they all did. But again, we'll start with game 1. Cade Povich, worst start of the year for him. I really liked what I've seen out of Cade coming into that game. Again, his walk numbers were way down. That was a big thing. Jake and I had talked about that. Just, if he can limit the walks, his stuff is good enough, I think, to be a back end, a 4 or a 5. And that's what he had been all year. But it was not good on Friday. 3 1/3 innings, 6 hits, 7 runs, 5 walks. Again, this is the first game all year that the walks, we kind of saw the old Cade. 5 walks. ZRA now sits at 6.38. Again, it's not good. It's not good. Anytime your guys' ERAs are up in the 6s. Again, especially a guy who, again, was awesome all September. We saw he really pitched his ass off down the stretch and then pitched great in spring and rightfully earned that spot. And then again, he's kind of just he hasn't had that one game this year where you're like, yeah, there it is. That's the Cade that we thought we were getting. Again, he hasn't been a total disaster. You gotta move him, you gotta do something. But there's talks and rumblings about sending him down and maybe keeping Brandon Young up here and letting him get some run up here. But again, I mean, it was just a nothing game. Team had 4 hits total. 2 of them were home runs by Cedric and Heston Kjerstad, 2 guys that have played well majority of the year. Again, Heston, I haven't been the biggest fan of, and I got chirped yesterday being like, "Oh, this guy thinks Heston is a meh hitter." And again, I mean, he's been okay this whole year. He's been fine. He hasn't been the Heston that we were, I don't know, looking forward to and thinking that we were going to see, but blame that on injuries because again, then Saturday he gets hit. He takes 100 off the elbow. But again, blame it on injuries or inconsistent playing time. I know that's everyone's favorite kind of topic on Twitter is Brandon Hyde and his lineups and who they're rolling out and who's facing a lefty and yada yada yada. But again, that's really all you need to hear from game 1. What was that final score? Was that 9-3? I think. Was it 8-3? Sorry, I'm pulling this up right now. I didn't have that in my notes. I had everything else in my notes. 8-3. Again, the Reds kind of got all they needed to. The Orioles scored in the bottom of the 2nd. That was a steady home run, and then again, they got the 3. Cincinnati gets 3 in the 3rd, 4 in the 4th, 1 in the 6th, and that was all they needed. Heston with 2 runs in the 8th inning. It was done from there. You flush it and you kind of move on to the next day, and that's what the Orioles did. Game 2, they were able to pull that one out in the all oranges, 9-5, a win. Big time runs in the 7th and the 8th inning before the Reds got one back in the 9th, and then we ended up seeing Felix come in and lock it down for a second save of the year. And I thought Felix looked good. Again, he's not going to be 100, 101 like he was, but I thought his splitter looked really good. He was nasty. So that was awesome to see. My biggest takeaway, and I talked about it with some folks on Twitter, the Orioles hit good pitching, like guys who are good, aces, stuff like that, righties who throw very hard. I mentioned that to somebody with the team in spring training when we saw them face Skeens. And I had said something like, you guys were hitting him pretty good. And it wasn't, they weren't tagging him for home runs, but they were getting good, solid contact. And I said, you guys were able to hit him. And he said, we don't have a problem hitting speed. And they usually don't. It's always the funky lefties and these relievers that are throwing 78 and guys like that. Yeah, Andrew Wheeler last year. If they face an ace or a big time pitcher, I feel like they've tagged Cole a couple times. Luis Heel last year, the Yankees guys, they kind of seem to hit. But the hitting, I mean, if it's speed, they can hit it. But if it's 80s and it's low 90s and it's a crafty left, I mean, I remember going and watching Adam Wainwright pitch against them, and he diced them up. I think that was 2 years ago. So if it's anybody like that who is a crafty lefty or an old school righty, they're not touching them. But if it's a guy, the best pitcher in baseball, and Hunter Green right now, who had an ERA under 1, they're gonna knock him out early. So that's what they did against Green, and that was awesome to see. Again, I think his ERA was 0.98 coming into the day. And his line, 3 innings, 6 hits, 5 earned runs, 2 walks, 4 Ks. He gave up 3 home runs, back-to-back home runs in the bottom of the first to start it off with Sed, who again is he's been their best player. There's no doubt about it. In a contract year, he's been their best player. And then Gunnar smoked one to center field, and he was able to get back on the board. And again, they got the early lead, and even though Cincinnati, it was 3-3 after 2, but then the Orioles kind of just took over, scoring 2 in the 7th, 2 in the 8th, and they were able to win 9-5 on 11 hits, 13 hits by the Reds. That was one of the better games. I think we can all agree too. Ramon Laureano was player of the game, absolutely, and Hyde said that Saturday night after the game, but after Heston takes 100 off the elbow, and he said it got him like right in here, right, and there was no padding, no protection, no nothing. Or no, he did have the padding, but they said that it kind of got in between the padding. So even if you got that big Barry Bonds, lefty pad on your elbow, 100 is 100. It's still going to hurt. It doesn't matter how much padding you have on there. It's going to hurt. So that stunk to see. He tried to kind of like shake it off, and immediately you just knew, nope, that is not. This isn't going to be a thing that happened. He tried to go out, I think, and throw, and they said he wasn't able to do it. So Ramon Laureano came in, and again, we had crapped on Ramon all season so far, being like, he's supposed to be defensive replacement. He's not that good. He's supposed to hit lefties. He's not that good. He comes in and hits 2 home runs, almost 3 home runs. He's probably about 10 feet, maybe 5 feet from a third home run. And I mean, the second one he smoked. The first one was into the little bird bath porch type area. I don't know. I forget what they're calling it. Heston said his hands went numb. That's what I was thinking too, Carol, was maybe it just got him in the funny bone kind of spot. And because you could see he was kind of like dragging it, and it was like he was shaking it like this, and everybody knows that feeling. You just can't feel. You get pins and needles in your hand. You just can't do anything. So again, Ramon came in, Orioles magic. Every night it's a different star. That was the exact plot of that storyline right there. Ramon, again, nobody thought that Ramon would come in and do that, and good for him to get the 2 home runs, made the catch to end the game, a little over his head, and jumped up and made a good play. So again, the all orange, it works for them, 2-0 in those. So keep that going, and hopefully they can spread some of that spread some of that wealth out other places. Trent, hope this injury doesn't slow him down. Hyde said he was available yesterday in a key situation. Yeah, I'm sure it doesn't feel good. Hopefully 2 full days off, and not it's technically a road game. It's not a travel day. They're going to DC. I know they spent the night down there, probably last night, or drove down this morning, but he's not traveling. He doesn't have to worry about it swelling up. My guess is he'll be good. I haven't checked the Nats, who they're throwing. righty, lefty, yada, yada, yada. But I would assume that he'll be good to go tomorrow. They face a lefty in Mitchell Parker, I'm sorry. 2-1, 185. Good lefty. So I'm sure that will throw everything off for the Orioles. They face Trevor Williams, who's a righty, on Wednesday. And then Mackenzie Gore on Thursday, who is a good lefty. They tagged him a couple years ago. I think it was last year, actually. They played in D.C., and Dean Kramer was able to outduel him. But again, the injury to Kjerstad kind of stinks. It always just seems like anytime he kind of gets something going, he gets 98 to the ear hole from Clay Holmes, or it's something like that. So why wouldn't he, after playing his best baseball, take 100 to the elbow? Joe, are you headed down to DC? I am not. I work till 6 every day, and even though I work from home, it's still hard to get down there for the 6:35 games. DC especially. DC is a nightmare to get to any day. But just getting down there for a 6:30 game, it's going to be impossible. And with how quick games are now, by the time you get down there, it's going to be the 4th inning and the game's almost over. But yeah, game two. Game 2 was as good as advertised. It felt like a nice, complete win. Another good day. The bullpen was good. Bullpen has been good the whole year. Blow up on last Sunday for kids opening day against the Blue Jays. If you want to toss yesterday's game in there as a bullpen blow up, I don't really agree with that, considering how many runs Gary Sanchez and Jorge Mateo gave up. That's a story for another day. But we'll rip the Band-Aid right off. We'll go to game 3. Charlie Morton, not good. It was funny because Saturday night they asked Hyde, what do you need out of Morton tomorrow, and your bullpen, how's that looking? And he straight up was like, we need Charlie Morton to go an extended period of time. We need Charlie to have a good outing. We need to give the bullpen some rest. I've said it over and over. These guys don't have options. You're seeing it with Blewett, DFA'd and then traded. These guys don't have options, and you can't make any moves. You can't swap guys out and get a fresh arm in without letting someone go. And maybe it's CNL Perez next. It's a tough spot to be in. The bullpen, again, has pitched. They've pitched great. They've been awesome. They really pitched their asses off. Some days it's just going to happen. And yesterday is a game where you're not going to see that too often, where just a full, complete, disgusting meltdown. But again, Charlie Morton, not good. His ERA after that 7 runs, what was it? It was 2 1/3 inning, I believe. Let me see. 2 1/3 inning, 7 hits, 7 earned runs, 4 walks, 2 strikeouts, 1 home run. ERA 10.89. Not good, obviously. 10.89 after 5 starts, $15 million. It is very clear that Charlie Morton is not the answer, was never the answer. The rotation has the worst rotation ERA in baseball. I think it's 6.11. Who's going to find the Ubaldo Jimenez parking garage? The Charlie Morton situation. Obviously, we know the story with the pitching. You're missing Zach Eflin. You're missing Grayson Rodriguez. You're still missing Kyle Gibson. Kyle Gibson's still down. They moved him to single A so he can be closer, because I think AAA, wherever Norfolk was, they had bad weather, so they wanted to move him so where he could pitch. So they sent him to single A in Aberdeen. He pitched fine. They don't have Tyler Wells. You're still waiting on Kyle Bradish. Tyler Wells and Bradish are going to be after the All-Star break. Grayson Rodriguez is still up in the air. If I'm a betting man, I'm taking the under on any amount of innings thrown for him this year. It just doesn't seem like it's kind of in the cards with the shoulder injury and the elbow and the back and the tricep. So it's just, you kind of put him to the side and you focus on the rest of the guys. The Wrath of Ryan. I have this tweet pulled up right here from Andy Koska. According to Fangraphs, the Orioles rotation, the rotation ERA minus is 161. Lower is better. That means the rotation ERA is 61% worse than league average. 61% worse than league average. That is the worst ERA minus in the modern era of baseball, which is since 1900. Only 21 games in, of course. And again, that's courtesy of Andy Koska, who's, I assume you're following him. If you're not, I don't know what you're doing. But again, an ERA minus of 161, 61% worse than the league average. that's again, you couple that with the bullpen coming in yesterday having the best ERA in baseball as a group, and the rotation just can't do anything. And Sagano has been awesome, and Kramer has been kind of up and down. I think Kramer is not as bad as the ERA looks. I think he is in the sixes as well. It's hard to justify all that. It just kind of all starts. It goes back to the offseason, and we obviously know what happened with not replace. You're never going to replace a Corbin Burns. You're never going to replace a Gary Bertier, that like Coach Boone says in Remember the Titans. But you can't replace a Corbin Burns. He's kind of a one of one. Also, look at his numbers this year. If you want to have some fun, go look at his numbers. He's not been good this year. Not saying that he wouldn't been good here, but no one on the Orioles is good either right now. Sagano is fine. It's just the lack of moves made and the fact that you're signing Charlie Morton and Sagano and these kind of guys, and you're kind of just bracing for like, well, if Grayson can come back. He's been injured. He's been injured a lot, and there is no guarantee going into the year that Grayson was going to be back or that he was going to stay healthy. And I love the guy to death. I want him to be the true ace. It's just hard to picture that right now, especially with the injury history. So it wouldn't shock me if he comes back healthy at some point and really is a good arm. He just has to stay healthy. It just comes down to Morton, having Morton in this rotation, a team trying to win a championship, and everyone listening, you all know me and kind of how I go with the front office and Hyde and the managers and stuff like that. And Elias and all them, I still trust them. They know more baseball than I'll ever forget, but it's just, it's tough right now with the way the pitching is going. Can't put him out here anymore. So that's my other thing. There's a couple different things you can do. Rubenstein it's not even Rubens. I mean, the front office, you can go to Dave and say, hey, we tried it. It's not working with him. I know it's very early in 5 games. It's tiny sample size, but he is not good. He says all the right things. I'm healthy. I'm this, I'm that. That's fine. It's not going to work here. It doesn't appear that it's going to work here. I don't think you can have him make another start if they're still serious about trying to make a run at this thing. I think you either go to him and you say, Charlie, there's a couple things we can do. We can DFA you. We can hide you in the bullpen, which is tough because you also have CNL Perez, who you have to hide in the bullpen. His ERA, I think, is 11 plus. You can't have 2 guys you're hiding in the bullpen. You're playing 2 guys down. Or you say, we're going to put you on the IL with a shoulder strain, pulled hamstring, whatever you want. You can make up the injury and we'll go from there. So I don't know. That's kind of where they're at. You DFA him, you send him to the bullpen and hide him there and just pitch around him, or you put him on the IL and buy yourself some time. So I don't know. Again, he claims he'll figure it out. I'm not doubting it. He's a vet. 10 ERAs flat out hurting the team every time he goes out there. I blogged it last night. The offense is fine. The inconsistencies, that is just the up and downs of baseball. I think it's a little more loud right now because this team, these hitters, they kind of know they have to score 6 or 7 runs a game. And if they don't, then they're not going to win. I mean, I couldn't imagine it's the bottom of the third and you're looking up going, okay, 6-0. Let's try and dig out of this hole again. Ryan Mountcastle's trying to figure out how do we climb back into this? Gunner's like, all right, well, let me try and hit another solo home run to claw our way back. It's not going to work. It's got to be just demoralizing from the offensive standpoint. Here we go. We have a shot at division in the second half. They absolutely do. I mean, they're still only 2.5 games out of the wild card. Again, the way that the offense plays at times, I mean, heck, they could rattle off 8 out of 9, if the offense comes alive and the weather is nice and they really start hitting and the ball is traveling. Those wins may be 9-8 or 10-9, but if you got to do it, you got to do it. But yeah, no one has taken off. The Yankees are still kind of dicking around, not really pulling away or anything. It's the division is still very tight. I think they're 4.5 back. Let me see. Yeah, 4.5 back of the division. Boston's 2 games ahead of them, or 2.5 games. And Tampa, the Orioles aren't even in last place. The Orioles are 9-12. And I feel like I'm at a funeral, hosting a funeral here for 26 guys. But again, it all comes down to starting pitching and Morton and just the inability to the fact that they didn't lack of urgency in signing pitchers. Yes, Alex. And we don't know how hard they went after Crochet. I was told that they went after him pretty hard. I know they talked to Sasaki and tried to get him and kind of put a full court press on him. It's just it's kind of an injustice to have this core and have these guys and then just have the pitching in this division, especially. And it really stinks too, because if you look at it, the Yankees lose Soto. The Blue Jays are kind of stuck in this limbo where they didn't know if they were going to sign Vlad or not. And they're kind of older, but they don't really have, I don't know. They're a weird team put together. The Rays are, who knows what the Rays are going to do. Boston is they have some young pieces, but even they can't put it together. So this would have been a perfect year. I mean, if the Orioles could have gotten off to a hot start and be, I don't know, 13-6 or something like that, like really, really get them out ahead of it and give them a nice cushion to make a run. That would have been perfect. This seems like a good time for it. Yeah, but again, plenty of time left. I don't think Bradish will be back until September. Yeah, Rick. Again, we're harping on guys who hopefully are back after the All-Star break in Wells and Bradish. And we just don't know what they will be after the All-Star break. We don't know what they'll be when they come back. It's tough to predict with these pitchers, especially, I mean, the injuries are just, it's everybody. Everybody's getting hurt. And it stinks to kind of have to put all your eggs in one basket and be like, well, if all these guys come back, because we're fans of baseball, you know that's not how it usually goes. One guy's going to take a little longer to rehab. One guy may come back a little too soon and hurt something. I don't know. It's tough. Let me see. You just had to use it somewhere else. 180. Yeah. I don't think they were ever going to go 7 years for Max Fried. That's a long time for a pitcher, and it probably is not going to end well for the Yankees. But they're the Yankees, and they can do that, and they can kind of make those swings and misses. Offense is straight poop. Yeah, it's been tough. I said they either score 9 runs a game or they score 1, and that 1 is like an 8th inning solo home run. So you're right there. It's been tough. Good at bats. They just don't let everything they can control affect their bats. I agree. Struggle against lefties. Rick, I think they're the best hitting team against righties and the worst against lefties, and that's tough. Again, especially after you go out and you're like, we're going to go get Gary Sanchez and we're going to get Ramon Laureano and these guys and Tyler O'Neill, who are all going to hit lefties, and no one has hit lefties so far. Offense might find the course over the season. They still might score 5 and 6 and give up 7 and 8 and still lose. Absolutely. Best part of the weekend series was the hockey jersey. That hockey jersey looked awesome. The lines for that looked incredible. I will accept one if anyone has one that they're giving away. I will buy it, whatever. Same thing with a bobblehead. I'm a big bobblehead guy. I've got my Mountie bobblehead somewhere up here. There it is. I got my 2 Adleys, my Mountie, my Gunner, Cedric, Palmer, Santander, Corbin, Felix, and good old Mo Gabo, of course. But yeah, it was a great crowd over the weekend. The weather was awesome. Just kind of, it stunk that again, they really laid that egg on what's it called, on Easter. After drafting so many position players, how do you not double down on the above average pitching? Elias's thing, and this is what they have always done, is you buy the bats or you draft the bats, and then you grow the bats, you buy the arms. That's what they always did in Houston. They traded for Verlander, they traded for Cole, they traded for Greinke. That's what they did. They haven't done that yet here. I do still think that they're going to trade for a pitcher this year. They kind of have to. I just think that's something that we see happen. I don't know who it is. Apparently I said it last week. The Marlins really want a haul for Sandy, and no one's going to trade in April either. I mean, everyone is convinced that they're in this except for the Rockies. So no one is going to sell yet. If they did sell, it would be because they got an absolute haul. But it's not going to be Michael King. It's not going to be Dylan Cease, those guys that we saw named in the offseason. It's going to be tough, but they're going to have to go out and make a move like that, because we're waiting on these guys to come back from injuries, and it's just tough to put all your eggs in that basket. I got in 20 minutes after the gates open and they were out of hockey. Yeah, I forget the guy's name. I talk about him like every 2 weeks. The guy who lives above Pickles, Obu, I think he has the the Twitter with Obu or Jobu from but I think it's Obu, his Twitter name, and he was tweeting out at like 3.5 hours before the game. They had a ton of lines, so crazy crowds. At least they were able to. No, that was Friday. They were able to win from the Uncle Dave bobblehead, which is awesome. Let's trade for Zach Veen. I liked him when he was a high schooler in the draft. Colorado has no clue what they're doing. They have zero plan, idea, whatever. They signed Chris Bryant, that monster deal, and he has done nothing. Do you want to talk about a franchise that is in the dumpster? The Rockies are just no plan, no farm system, no talent, no real talent, no future at all. But they make a ton of money, and their ballpark's great, and they're going to have 25,000 every night. I was so again, we're kind of jumping all over the place, but I was on the podcast with Carabas. Baseball is Dead. Carabas, Justin Havens, Jay Hay at Jay Hay Kid. Great Twitter follow. If you don't follow Jay Hay, he cooks up some great nuggets for baseball. He was like frustrated and mad about the Orioles and their offense and how it hasn't. He just kept saying for years you've been talking about Gunnar and Adley and Jackson and Westberg, but they haven't done it. Like he said, I'll give Gunnar a pass. He was an MVP candidate last year, but no one has really lived up to the living to what we thought they were going to be. He said much talk about the Orioles pitching stinking badly. It does, but at some point, the amazing next generation of the best prospects we've ever seen probably needs to start hitting. Gunnar plus Adley plus Jackson plus Jordan. Their slash line 211, 274, 396, and 288 plate appearances this year. Again, Gunnar, Adley, Jackson, Westberg 211, 274, 396, and 288 plate appearances. Again, I throw Gunnar out because he missed a month, and again, he was an MVP candidate last year. Oh, sorry, allergies are killing me today, but he's right. They all we did was talk about how these guys are just nonstop hitting animals, and that's what they just haven't turned into. And we have to see them turn around. Somebody in there mentioned Adley hitting the home run yesterday. Batting under 200 up until I think that hit yesterday. So we heard all last second half that he was hurt. He was hurt. He looked hurt. He looked overweight. He came into camp out of shape and all that. He looked awesome this year, and he started 2 home runs on opening day, 2 mammoth blasts. And it's just, I know he's getting very, very unlucky. All the analytics and all that say that he's going to get, it's all going to come around and he'll be fine. And I do, obviously no one is a bigger Adley guy than me. So I'm still right there. 0 for 52 between Jordan and Adley. Good thing Jordan started to hit a little bit, the home run, the double. So it would be nice to see him kind of come along and shake off that nagging injury, whatever it was. But again, just going back to the offense, the inconsistency, 3 runs, 9 runs, 2 runs. And the 2 runs came when you were down 20. So who cares? Just gotta, they gotta find that, I don't know, happy medium. You're not going to score 9 runs a game, but you can't be scoring 2. So go again. I still thought this was an offense that could be top 3 in baseball and hit the crap out of the ball. And the wall is coming in, and that was such a big story. Oh my God, we're going to hit so many home runs. The wall, and Tyler O'Neill is going to mash lefties. He hasn't done it yet. No one has really stepped up outside of Cedric as an offensive threat. Mountie had that good run. Was cooled off a little bit, but people just, we need Gunnar to come back and be old school Gunnar. And it's nice because he's hitting the crap out of the ball. And it's a great lineup in the show. Don't get me wrong. MLB The Show, I mash with them, but it just hasn't translated to this year yet. 20 games in, 19 games in, 140 some games left. So there's still plenty of time. It's just all going to come down to if they can pick it up. I've talked to a couple of people too, and that's kind of the 3-game series. It sucked. They lose the series. You get killed. You're minus 22 run differential in one game. It's going to put a bad taste in your mouth. The interview with West, he looked totally demoralized. He said it. He said we got our butts kicked, and it's embarrassing, and it's not just a wake up call. Like it should piss them off, and I'm sure it does. This is a group of guys who collectively have not had failure like this in a long time. If it was probably T-ball the last time that this was constantly happening to them. All of these guys were the best players on their team, their high school teams, their college teams, and all this and that. So this is the first time that they're struggling personally, individually, and then as a team. So it's tough to kind of dust yourself off and get back up, but you have to do it. There's 140 games left. It's not like it's the last week of September and you're like, yeah, we can kind of just coast. We got a week left. Let's just go into the offseason. There's a full baseball season left. Guys are playing for jobs. Guys are hoping to stick around and get contract extensions and things like that. This is a team whose theoretical their World Series window should be right now. We should be talking about how this team can win the World Series. Right now, it doesn't look like that. Right now, they would be lucky to finish 500, it seems. 9-12, it's not the end of the world that they're 9-12. This team should be a lot better than they are. A lot better. A lot of it goes on the pitching. Some of it on the offense. I wrote it in the blog. Shout out the bullpen. They've been pitching their asses off. So good for them, except for CNL. But guys like Brian Baker and Cano and even Felix is gutting it out. Good for them. I do feel happy seeing that. But it just seems like this is what I was going to before. No real identity on the team. It just doesn't seem like they know who they want to be. And they should be these young, just savage killers and a team that guys are like, oh, shit. We got the Orioles coming into town this week. They're going to hang 9 on us. They should be the team scoring 24 runs. They should be. I remember last year, it was Easter weekend, too. It was Greek Easter weekend, I believe. I was at John Menadakis' house celebrating Greek Easter. And they absolutely boat raced the Reds. I mean, boat raced them, embarrassed them. The Reds just return the favor. So that's what they have going for them. But again, no identity. Just we need leadership from somewhere. Why should they have a better record? Because of the names and the guy and how talented the offense is. That's what I'm saying. Not like they should have a better record because they should have won this game and they didn't. They're a better team than this. We know this. They've won 101 games on 91 games in the last 2 years. So the offense should be much better. That's what I'm kind of getting at. Team has no one pushing them. I think they got to push themselves. Again, this is the first time a lot of these guys have struggled in a team setting or individually. So you get smacked in the face. You got to get up and dust yourself off and look yourself in the mirror and be like, that shit sucked. We don't want that to happen again. Let's go out and do it to someone. I talking to guys today. I was like, how sick would that be to win like 12-1 in what's it called in DC tomorrow? Smack them around, just absolutely embarrass them. That would be good. They need one of those. I still think, man, I want on their next homestand when the Yankees come to town, I'd pay a good amount of money for one walk-off. I need something to kind of galvanize the guys and get them together and have them jumping up and down and just getting them back into it and get the juices flowing and the adrenaline flowing. So I want a walk-off. That's all I want. I want something to get the guys united and have them going. So do you think Gunnar Adley should step up into that leadership role? Ideally, I mean, I would love it. Adley and Gunnar are kind of looked at as the face of the franchise and the big names in baseball. I would love to see that. They're sitting right there for the taking. It may not be their personality to kind of yell and scream and, break a bat over their knee or smash a helmet in the clubhouse, but somebody has to, a veteran. I don't know if it's Cedric is a kind of, he seems like a more quiet guy. Maybe it's Ryan O'Hearn who seems fire. And he's the guy, I think I tweeted it. Like, I can't see anyone on this team. Like something about like being a jerk to like an umpire and getting in his face. O'Hearn is a guy who I want behind me in a bar fight. Maybe it's him who again, the journeyman who has been there and seen it all and done it all and played on some really bad teams and now has a role on this team. I don't know. Maybe he can get up and get the guys going, but they don't need the rah, win one for the Gipper speech. I think they just need someone to smack them around and say, hey, we're good. We know we're good. We know what we're capable of. Let's go out and do that. Yeah, the same Jake Peavy type psycho traits. Yeah, it's great. It's exactly what you want. So that's where I think they're missing Tony. I don't think they're missing Tony offensively. Because if you look at his numbers this year, he hasn't done much. But I think they're missing a guy who in the clubhouse will either keep it loose, will get him going, knows when to speak up and say that, say something. I definitely think that's part of it. So Mountie could fit the role as well. Yeah, I think Mountie he's a leader. He was kind of the first one of this group of young guys, offensive guys, to come up and make a name for himself. I definitely think the guys would respond to that and listen to him when he talks and kind of go from there. Again, just going back to the offense, need leadership. Offense goes missing for way too long. You look at the numbers: Mullen 284, Gunner 228, 706 OPS, Adley 208, 689 OPS, O'Hearn's hitting 296, Mountie 252, Westberg 194, 645, Holiday 220. And I'm with you guys on the Holiday stuff. We got to stop treating him like he's a non-roster invitee and not play the guy against lefties. He's a 1-1 pick. He should be in there every day. You give him the day off once a week, whatever. You put Mateo in there for however long he's still here, and you let him go. But Holiday has to, baby, you got to take training wheels off him. I don't know, again, if it's Hyde, if it's the front office or what, but I think you got to see what he is. Who cares if he doesn't hit lefties, whatever. But we have to remember he's 21 years old. I think you gotta just kind of take the governor off and let him go. And if he has a 650 or 700 OPS this year, that's perfectly fine. Again, he's still 21 years old. He's playing great defense, so he helps you there. Got to figure something out. Need someone or multiple people to step up and just take control. Westy said it should be a kick in the butt, and he's right. 140 games left. Got to do it. Starters not going deep. It always starts and stops with pitching. Guys not going deep will be the downfall. So I looked up these stats today. The starting pitching, third least innings thrown among all starters. Colorado and Miami have only thrown less, 101.2. 101.2 innings from the starters all year. Not good enough. They've given up second most hits, second most runs, third most home runs. Least amount of strikeouts was 71. Again, that's not a shock at all. What was shocking was they were like their walk numbers were really good. They don't walk a lot of people at all. The starters, at least. The bullpen is kind of different. But the starters, I should have. It was like 19th or something like that in walks. So they're not walking the guys, but they still have the second highest WHIP, 1.62 WHIP, second worst average against 312. Guys are hitting 312 off your starters. It's crazy. And I know you don't have the guys that we thought we would. And somebody said it earlier, like we knew Bradish was going to be hurt and we knew Grayson was going to be hurt going into the season. Grayson, we didn't know. You could have had an inkling, like maybe there's a chance he doesn't pitch a full year, but he came into spring perfectly healthy. That's not a thing, that he didn't come into spring training with the elbow or with the tricep and all that stuff. So say what you want, but he was a guy who we thought that we would have at least to start the year. They would be in much better position if they just had, if Eflin didn't get hurt or if Grayson, didn't go down with what he had. Walked a ton yesterday. Yeah, I think it was, 11 guys I think they walked. You were right on that mark. Again, I tuned out very early, and I actually helped save a goat that was stuck in a fence behind my parents' house. So if you want to see that picture, I do have that. 11 walks yesterday. Yeah. 24 hits, 25 runs, 23 RBIs, 11 walks, 6 Ks. So yeah, not a banner day at all yesterday. And again, a lot of that, I mean, whatever. It was Jorge and Gary pitching, but anytime, I'll say this, Mark, you'll probably be on my side. If there's 2 position players that are pitching for you, they should cancel the game. They should get everybody out of there and just say, hey, guys, we're done here. Morton gets behind a lot in the counts, forcing him to throw meatballs in the 435 BAA. My favorite was how all year we heard about this curveball and how he's so good with the curveball, and his curveball is nasty, and it's his best pitch. And then yesterday, they were like, he's thrown 11 curveballs, and 10 of them have been for balls. You can't locate it. If you can't locate it, what does it matter? It's just like Mateo and his speed. Speed for Mateo doesn't matter if you can't get on base. So if you can't throw the curveball for a strike, cool. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. Update on Eflin. I think they said he was thrown from 120 feet yesterday. If you listen to him, he's like, he would probably start tomorrow if they gave him the chance. He's like, I'm ready to go. It doesn't sound, they said he may not need any rehab starts. So he's really pushing it to get back. And I think he recognizes how bad the rotation needs him and how bad the team needs him. He's trying to work his way back is what it seems. Or the opposition needs to pitch a position player too. Ooh, I don't hate that at all. If you put in a position player, the other team should have to. I like that. That could be a little fun. That's an interesting one. I'll have to sleep on that. I don't know. That's kind of all I have. Yesterday was kind of the rock bottom for a lot of people. There was a lot of overreacting, and you have to fire someone, and you have to do this, and you have to do that. No one's getting DFA. No one's getting fired. No one's getting cut. No one's getting chained to a cinder block and thrown into the harbor. It's not happening. 53.5 hard hit percentage. Trent, not great. It's not great. Not great at all. But again, there's 140 games left. It's not, they're not dead and buried. It's very frustrating. And I fully understand why people are jumping off the bandwagon and just want nothing to do with the team. That's fine. If you don't turn it on. If it's going to ruin your day, watch something else, go for a walk, do, color. I don't know. Listen to music, listen to a podcast, unsubscribe and resubscribe to us. I don't know what to tell you. It's been sloppy and embarrassing. And they'll be the first ones to tell you that, but they're also the first ones who are going to say, well, we're going to get right back in this thing. And these are the guys. I mean, we waited so long. That off season was brutal and so long and so cold and so dark. And we waited for that. And here it is. So you might as well stick it out with them. If it's going to suck, you go down with the ship. These are the guys that we root for. So this is the sport. This is what it's like. Somebody posted in here earlier. The Ravens started out with 0-2 or something, and I forget what they finished last year, but they were able to turn it around. Baseball is obviously different, but I understand fully how frustrating it is and why it feels like a lost season. I mean, because of where we should be in this World Series window, I think everybody kind of had 2025 circled as like this is the year that they're really going to take a step. That's what I thought in the offseason. I saw the guys in the offseason and how good they looked and how excited they were. And down in Sarasota, it's like, okay, this could be the year that everything really comes together. Offensively, at least. I think, again, we all knew the pitching was going to be an issue. The injuries, it's just, there's no way that you're able to predict the amount of injuries, and there's no way that you're able to overcome the amount of injuries that they have without going out and making something. Stats shouldn't count with positions players. There has to be some kind of asterisk, I think, because Matt Wayrich had posted some graph being like, oh, here's where the Orioles stand. Yesterday, they would have been up here, their bullpen, but because of Jorge Mateo and Gary Sanchez, now they're down here. And it's like, well, when you, at the end of the year, when you look at the numbers for the bullpen, that's going to be factored in. And that sucks because that's not the bullpen. It doesn't count at all. So it does suck because somebody said the same thing to me yesterday. They said, well, the bullpen has sucked recently. I said, no, it hasn't. I said, coming into today, they had the number 1 ERA. Like that's statistically false. So again, people are overreacting, and everyone wants changes to be made, and it's not going to happen right now. If it's August and they've lost 20 of 25 and they're 30 games back, yeah, something is going to happen. But Mike Elias is not getting fired. Mike Elias is not going anywhere. Brandon Hyde is not going anywhere for the time being. JK, what happened to liftoff? We'll dive into this real quick. Mike Elias said that while John Angelo's still on the team and was in the process of exploring a trade. If you're selling something, or not a trade, it's selling the team. If you're selling something, you freeze all assets. You're not spending it all. Should Elias have said that? No, he should have worded it a little differently and should have said, we're going to be open to doing business and re-signing guys and long-term free agents and things like that. I think he worded it wrong. But the people that think the front office, like, they don't want to do anything is beyond me. It's just crazy. And I think that goes into the football mindset. If you lose 3 games in a row and somebody has to lose their job and somebody's on the chopping block and somebody has to do this, we have to bench this guy or something like that. So liftoff hasn't happened. Again, he probably should not have said that. And there was a wrong choice of words, But it's again, we have to calm down. Nothing is gonna, heads aren't gonna roll because of a game they lost in April. It's not gonna happen. And we've seen teams come back from this before. You look at the Nats. You look at the Braves a couple years ago. They've rebounded and won games. So, and won the World Series. And I'm not saying the Orioles are. If you saw Jacob Calvin Myers tweet yesterday, no team has lost by 20 runs or more, and given up and won the World Series. Andrew, would you rather have kept the Blewett or Perez? I think they only kept Perez because and DFA'd Blewett is because Blewett was a righty, right? Was he not a righty? I believe he was. And if you take out Perez, I get Chris Blewett, the field goal kicker. For Scott Blewett, that's his name. Scott Blewett is a righty. If you get rid of Perez, you only have Keegan Aiken as the lefty in the bullpen, correct? I believe. I think that's the case. And you need more than one lefty in the bullpen. I think that's quite literally just what it came down to. I think Perez is probably the next guy to go outside of Morton if something does need to happen. And say they get Eflin back, I don't know, in April. Say they get Eflin back in 2 weeks, and then maybe you can bring up Brandon Young and put him in the bullpen. I don't know, but you need you need a lefty. You need more than one lefty in there. Soto as well. Yes, you're right. Okay, so that would be 3 lefties right now. You don't want to go in there with just 2 lefties with Aiken and Soto. So I completely forgot about Soto as well. Yeah, expectations are there. They were so bad for so long. Then we had the 2012 run, and now this iteration with homegrown stars. Would love to see a World Series before I die. Brother, you're preaching to the choir. You were preaching to the choir there. The expectations are what makes this so frustrating because all we heard for so long from not just local media, the beat reporters, the Sun, the Banner, the Masson, all that. National baseball reporters were talking up the Orioles. So it's not like it was a me thing being a fanboy, as I was called yesterday, or a homer, or drinking the orange Kool-Aid. It was Buster Posey. Buster Olney was giving them props. It was Jeff Passan. It's all these people. So everybody else around baseball sees how talented they can be. They just have not lived up to it this year. And we all know about the playoff failures in the last couple of years, and that has burned a lot of folks and a lot of fans and ruined a lot of the last couple of seasons. So again, the bottom line is that they have the worst rotation of baseball right now. And the things to fix it are guys coming off the injured list, which is not how you want to. It's not what you want. I do still think a trade will be made. When, who, how, I don't know. But they know how dire this situation is and the need that stands out there. And I was even looking at spring or pitchers next year that are free agents. I think it's like Dylan Cease, not a Boris guy. I think Michael King is a Boris guy. Stroman. It is not a very good list of pitchers outside of King and Cease if they are free agents next year. I can't remember, but I get it because of where we should be in the World Series window. It feels like a lost season. Expected to compete for a World Series in 25. They don't even look like a wild card spot. Doesn't seem like they're panicking, which is good. You don't want these guys freaking out and losing their mind at 20 games in. They know what's in the Aaron Boone. They know what's in front of them. They just have to go out and do it. They're not going to overreact. I don't know. That's all I got, kind of. I'm just going over my notes. Bottom of the worst rotation of baseball, and the Band-Aid to fix it is Eflin, Bradish, Wells, Grayson, Kyle Gibson. Chances are not all these guys will bounce back like we need them to, so they're going to need additional help. Bullpen, keep doing your thing. Offense, I have all the confidence in the world that they'll find their footing. I still truly believe Gunnar will have MVP-type numbers at the end. We know what Gunnar's capable of, and the rest of the guys. I think we'll follow suit and hopefully pick it up. Cows are coming back in probably 4 weeks, something like that. Will be a nice shot in the arm. Maybe they just need that goofy dude back in the lineup, making everyone laugh again. Maybe that's all they need, and it'll turn around from there. So I don't know. We'll see. Stick with them or don't. That's all I'll say. If you don't want to watch them, don't watch them. I'm personally going to stick with them and watch them. I just want to cry. Been there, brother. I talked about it in the blog. I've seen 30-3. I've seen the Mother's Day Massacre. I've been at a game where there were 4,000 paid people in the in the ballpark, and it was 30 degrees. And Nestor Cortez Jr. gave up a grand slam to Josh Donaldson when Nestor was on the Orioles, and it was bad. It was ugly. I have seen it all. I wasn't born for the 0-21 start, but I've seen it all. And yesterday was about as embarrassing as any of those. The 30-3 was the first day that I got dropped off to college. And I remember calling my dad like after orientation, and he was like, "Oh yeah, the Orioles got killed today." And I was like, "Oh, would they lose like 10-1?" And he's like, "No, it's 30-3." And I was like, "No, that simply is not true." And again, this is back in 2008. So there was no, Facebook wasn't what it was. I wasn't on Twitter yet. I wasn't getting the mass and text updates. So I was like, there's no way they lost that. So I've seen my team lose by 27 points or runs. I've seen them 30 runs put up against them. It was close yesterday. The Reds didn't have the cojones to put up a 30 spot, but I've seen it all. It feels like rock bottom. The only way to go is up. As much as I would have liked them seeing them sign a true ace, it wouldn't have mattered right now with other starters hurt. That's a great point. It would have made us feel better about the state of the rotation, I think, going forward, because we've seen it in 2014 and 2016. It was big with that. Like, guys just passing the baton. 7 1/3 inning, two runs, you pass the baton back. The guy behind you does 6 1/3 and 6 1/3 shutout. And then the guy behind him goes 7 and he gives up 3 or something like that. It's just guys constantly passing the baton. But yeah, there's still time to make trades, and nobody wants to trade yet. So you kind of just have to. The bottom line is the Orioles are going to have to tread water like they've been doing and just stay in the race and make a trade. And they're going to have to overpay. And people say that Elias and them, they love to hoard their prospects. If you have to trade a Kobe Mayo, you do it. If you have to trade a Heston Kjerstad and package him with somebody, you do it. I think you got to do whatever you do to make significant additions to this rotation and elsewhere. You can't have enough bats. Another bullpen arm would be absolutely fantastic. So I think you improve the team wherever you can, and you go for there. So, Alex, I'll continue to watch. This team has given me more grief and heartache in my life, and I can't quit this drug called Orioles baseball. I've never done crack or cocaine or anything like that, but baseball is my drug, and I will continually try and overdose on it until I'm no longer here. So take that as a quote card, and we'll go from there. Trent, same thing. I look forward to watching them every day. Part of me, like these nights when it's a Tuesday night and they're down 8-1 or something like that, part of me like wants to keep watching because I know that it's going to be the middle of December and dark and cold. And it's like, man, I would give anything to watch them play like the Tigers right now. Just some random game on. Like if anyone from Masson is listening, please just constant in the offseason, they should just constantly run games, not the Keegan Aiken rain delay game, but like show us some old school games, show us some of the reruns and just keep us interested, keep us going. That's what we want. Baseball back then. So baseball when we don't have it. So Rick, yep, good or bad or ugly, I'm a lifer. I am the ugly part of that. And yes, again, I am a lifer. So 55 minutes on a series that felt like getting your teeth just absolutely kicked in over and over. I think the title on my blog this morning was the Orioles embarrassed. They ruined my Easter, and they made me, the Orioles pitching makes me want to eat glass. So hopefully they can turn this around and get it going. 140 games left. A lot of baseball left, and nobody wants to hear that, but that's kind of just the truth. They're not going to panic or overreact. That's our duty, and not right as a fan, but that's what fans are going to do. So I fully get it. If you're going to flip out and lose your mind on Twitter, whatever, that's your prerogative. Watch them or don't. I don't know. I'll be at the ballpark when they come back, hopefully sometime soon, and just hope that they can turn it around, and we'll go from there. I believe that is all I have for you. I am a tired little boy tonight. As always, I appreciate everyone jumping in, interacting. You guys are the best. You're my favorite people on the earth. Give us a shout out or give us a follow. Give us a follow on subscribe on YouTube. Click the thumbs up if you can. I would really appreciate it. The comments help more than you guys know. Again, sharing, doing all that other stuff that helps immensely as well. So we at Exit 52 appreciate you. I know we're not putting out same volume of content as we used to. Listen, we are old guys and we got life going on, and there's a lot of shit going on that's flying around. So we're tired. Draft is this week. I think Spenny and Jake and Banks are going to try and do some of that. So we'll again, you'll be seeing us not as much as you used to in the past, but we're still here and we'll be coming to you as much as we can. So as always, follow us on Twitter at Exit 52 Podcast. Follow me at EDITTI22. Banks for his golf, Ravens, all that other good stuff. He's great with the Orioles as well, at Barstool Banks. At Taylor Smythe, he's still there killing it. If you're looking for any NIL merch with any of your NCAA guys, go to him. At Taylor Smythe 10, at Jake Luke, as always, at Ravens for Dummies, Spenny, Jake. Again, they're going to be killing it with the Ravens coverage and Orioles as well. So again, just we appreciate you guys sticking with us and following and all that. Thank you for taking your time to give us a therapy session. Yeah, this was a good therapy session. I needed it. Again, I think a lot of people do. I will stop saying again. I do promise that. I got a billion texts about it, so that's my nervous tick. So thank you, Shannon. Shout out Trent, Rick, our guy, Mark. Nice work as always. I appreciate you. Sorry we couldn't meet up this weekend. I think I made the right call not going on Sunday. Saturday would have been more fun, but Sunday was I will say I was very happy that I was not there on Sunday. I'm not sure if you went or not, but we'll talk. Carol, as always, thank you. I appreciate you as well. Go O's. And again, we will see you. I think what is it? Thursday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Thursday being the draft. I don't know if we'll get a post series recap in. I think the guys are going live. We may try and do like some happy hour kind of thing. I don't know if we'll do something Orioles. Kind of just depends on how the series goes. Maybe I'll jump on and just do a Twitter video or something like that. Not sure, but again, we'll go from there. Hopefully next time we talk, the Orioles are sweeping and we're back pounding our chest. If they sweep, they're back to 500 and then don't let them get hot. Then it's time to have some fun. I forget who they play this weekend too. I got to look that up. I know the Yankees coming to town next week. Who is that? Who's coming up? Then I promise I'll let you guys go. I'll stop rambling in your ear. Detroit. So at 3 at Washington, 6:45 all those times. And then 6:40 Friday night in Detroit, 1:10 on Saturday in Detroit, 1:40 against Detroit on Sunday. And then the Yankees come in for 3, Kansas City for 3, and then a little bit of a flyover Minnesota road trip, and then LA before they come home again for Minnesota and Washington. So big games coming up again. The Nats are not very good either. So this is, I want to say it's a get right series, but who knows? I don't know. Yeah, Detroit, Mark. Yeah, that's they're playing. I think they're playing the Padres right now. As I lose more money on my home run bets for Manny and Tatis, but we'll see. As always, again, I appreciate you guys popping in. I will stop saying again, and we will hopefully chat Thursday after a 2 out of 3 series win, maybe even a sweep. I don't want to get greedy with it, but we will figure that out. We'll call it as it goes from there. Thanks. Love you all. We'll talk soon.